welcome to Mom Life Today, and Tracey is here with Shaunti Feldhahn, and we're so excited. Okay, I have to tell you, my daughter went to hear you speak a few months ago.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, and you made a real big impression on her because you shared about the importance of modesty.
Yeah.
So I know there are a lot of moms sitting out there with daughters and sons, and I feel like you could give them some real good wisdom on the importance of modesty. So will you share?
I think I know what affected your daughter so much, because when I talk to teenage girls, like at school assemblies, their eyes get real big. Because here's what moms need to know about how to explain this to their kids. See, girls, and we as women sometimes think, you know, it's none of his business what I'm wearing, he shouldn't be looking, right? I mean, that's kind of the answer that you get. And the problem is that we don't actually understand physically how the male brain is wired. There is actually a center of the male brain that lights up when that guy sees a girl or a woman who's dressing in a way that kind of calls overt attention to a good figure, not just being pretty, not just being beautiful, but overt attention like the spaghetti strap tops or the tight skirt or whatever. And the female brain doesn't do this, but the male brain, there's a center in the back of the brain that lights up and he automatically views it really sexually. So these teenage boys automatically have this temptation to fantasize. And that is not what the average teenage girl is going for.
Right.
And I told the girls at that church, and I tell them at the assemblies and stuff, a story that proves that it's not just he's being a perv and you know, and it's a decision. No, there's an automatic piece to this.
Okay. So
and let me tell you, by the way, there is a choice that they make after they have that automatic biological response to sort of wrench their thoughts away. But the initial response is purely automatic.
So you're saying it's just automatic?
Yeah, and I'll show you. I'll prove this to you.
Okay.
We lost my son once in the mall when he was 4 years old, and we went running back to find him because, of course, panic. And we found him in front of the Victoria's Secret window, going.
And he was.
And staring at the life-size cutouts. He was 4, and staring at the life-size cutouts of the women with the not much on, right? And of course, my husband's like, "Oh boy!" And I look at him and I'm like, "It's all yours, honey. Take this one." And he bent down. He's like, "Honey, where were you?" And my little boy raised his finger and pointed at these life-size cutouts of the women in the underwear, and he said, "I like those ladies. They make my tummy feel good." And my husband's like, "Oh boy." And he said, "Well, yeah, they're really pretty. What is it that you like?" And he said, "Their bare tummies make my tummy feel good."
Oh, wow.
He was 4 years old.
Wow.
And for moms to help their daughters understand there is a purely biological component to this, and that it is so difficult for the boys and the men to navigate this culture when that is thrown at them every day, because God talks to them in the Bible about keeping their thought lives pure. And that's obviously pretty difficult in this culture.
Right.
And so don't add to that. And you know what? The average girl doesn't want to.
No.
She wants to just feel pretty. In our survey of girls, they just want to wear what's in style and feel good about themselves. They don't realize that they are tempting some godly teenage boy with some thoughts in his head that he does not want to have.
Wow.
And once they realize that, most girls want to make the right choice. There are some who probably don't care that they're putting the skids under some guy, and you know what? Then that's a hard issue.
Right.
And they have to deal with the Lord on that. But most moms have found that it really helps for them to realize how biological it is. That's why we did the survey in the Free Young Women Only book, to prove this to them.
So do the moms out there listening have your permission to tell that story
yeah.
about your son? Okay,
Absolutely.
So moms, I challenge you, tell that story about her 4-year-old son to your daughters, so that they know that they need to pay attention to the choices they make and what they wear.
Or I guarantee every mom who has a son out there, if they ask their son, "How old were you when you first started," you know, and they'll hear the same thing, and it'll give it a very personal story, not just my son, but theirs.
And one little suggestion I want to give you with my son, we have a 14-year-old son, and what we've practiced with him is eyes down.
Yeah.
And we can be at home watching something, and if a commercial comes on, I see him he just
Good
tries
for
to just look.
him.
And I've noticed sometimes I've been in the kitchen
Yeah.
cooking, and I hear a commercial and I look and I see his head go down.
That
so
is
encourage your boys,
excellent
eyes
choice.
down
Yep.
when you
so
see
that
something
it
you
never
shouldn't.
goes into their brain to
Right.
begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Mom, some more great advice from Shaunti, and take that challenge. And we'll see you next week on Mom Life Today. Bye.